Got him.
Welcome to Fish North Georgia the Guide. Here's Joshua Little.
Hey guys, Joshua Little here with Fish North Georgia the Guide, and I wanted to give you a recap from Hollis, Lathem back on July 18th. This is the first time that I fished that lake in right at a year. This was a tournament that I was invited out to, an electric-only tournament. I'm generally fishing from a kayak, so I was able to fish a little bit more of the water than what I did last year. We put in right at 7:30, 8 o'clock. Water clarity was right around 6-7 feet down next to the boat ramp area. The first place we went, we actually made our way back up towards the tunnel that goes into the smaller section of the lake, and we fished that island, pretty close to the island right there. And that morning we started off just kind of throwing top water, throwing a spinnerbait, throwing a chatterbait, a crankbait, just a little bit of everything to see if we could get a bite pretty quickly to find what they were looking for. The first fish that I actually caught was off of the fish head underspin, and of course this is a 3/16 ounce fish head underspin, Arkansas shiner. And this is the bluegill flash with the 3.3 Kitech. It was one that it wasn't a hard hit. He just kind of swam up and grabbed it, and it was a fairly small largemouth, nothing too big. So I just continued to throw that to see if I could get any more bites, and I didn't have anything else. No reaction bites, no nothing with the underspin. Josh was actually throwing a drop shot, and from what I could tell, everybody had a drop shot tied on and was fishing his drop shot at Hollis. The next fish we actually got was off of the drop shot. That one was another, nothing crazy, that was small, but that was 2 out of the 3 that we had to have. He continued to work the drop shot, and I continued to throw a crankbait and then also the underspin. When we didn't have any success right there at the island anymore, we went through the tunnel, through the backside on the smaller section of the lake. And going back there, I immediately tied on a wacky rig and a Texas crawl. Just threw weight on it because that area is a little bit different. You've got a lot of submerged trees, you've got a lot of structure right there at the bank. There's a lot of areas, good areas for the fish to largemouth to stage up. And then I would imagine that there may be some spots back there, but for the most part, your spot's going to run deep in the deepest part of that lake. So when we were working that area, that was another one that, there's a road bed that cuts across it, so we fished that area, and we didn't have any luck back there. Now, water temp being right at that 87 degrees, we felt that area was not going to be a promising area. So we made our way back out and started headed towards the waterfall. As we get back to the waterfall, the water clarity got a lot darker due to the waterfall being right there. And same thing, I was throwing a chatterbait, I was throwing a crankbait, throwing the underspin, and we weren't having any luck. So I ended up switching up to another wacky rig that I throw. Now the first wacky that I threw around a lot of the structure back in the smaller area was just a standard wacky rig, just a regular Cinco. But I ended up tying on a weighted wacky rig, and this is a Jackal. This is an 1/8 ounce, and that is a tungsten head, and you do have the weed guard here. And this is a 1/0 hook, and the bait is actually a 5.8 Jackal. And this is their, what they call a flick shake, 5.8 inches. And for me, it was just something, the reason I switched up to the weight is because I wanted to get down a little bit faster so I could work the areas a lot faster. And I started at the main point of a tree or any rock. So if I seen a tree, I would work at the deepest point of that tree and throw it right at the front. And our next fish actually came off of that, and it was a largemouth, and it was right at 3.5 pounds, I guess, and a little under 3.5. But either way, that was toss it over there at the front of the tree. First cast up there, it falls, go to reel it up, and then there's just tension. He didn't hit it and take off with it. He just grabbed it and held on to it. So we get him in the get him in the boat, and I continued to throw this because for me that was just kind of a good sign that, okay, they're holding tight to cover, pick it apart, and that's what I continue to do for the rest of the day. The rod that I was throwing it on is just a normal spinning reel. This is a medium heavy. This is the St. Croix Mojo. This one right here is a 7.3 rod. It's got a Shimano spinning reel on it. And I had it's 25-pound braid that I run on there with a 12-pound leader. And the biggest reason I use that 12-pound is it just allows me, in some situations, you can horse it out of trees or any type of structure if you need to. So that's the reason I use the 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. After we worked that area for a good while, we didn't have any more luck back there. Of course, the water temperature was about 2 degrees colder back at the waterfall. So we just made our way back towards the actual boat ramp itself. And as you come around the corner, we worked the right-hand side, working our way back down. And Josh picked up another fish off of a drop shot. And we just continued to pick that area apart with a mixture of Texas rig, just a crawl, continue to throw a crankbait, and then also throwing the wacky. But that was it for the day. I mean, we only managed 4 fish, but for as hot as it was, and for me fishing that lake, I haven't fished it in a year. That to me, that lake is a very trying lake, and if you plan on going out there to fish it, from everything that I've seen, and I'm talking about, I've seen probably close to 15, 20 boats, and everybody was throwing a drop shot. I'm terrible at drop shot. It's something that I've got to learn. I threw it then, but I'm still just not 100% confident in it, so I switch up to something that I am confident in. Josh was catching fish on it, and I know other guys there were catching fish on it. And if I had to bet the guy who took first place, I would assume that's probably what his came off of. I know a lot of guys are throwing it on either a straight shank Texas rig with the drop shot, or they're going to throw it nose hook. If you're fishing the structure, I would definitely throw a Texas rig, or I'm sorry, not Texas rig, but weedless. That way you can pull it through the brush. That's going to be your best bet. So if you guys are headed out to Lathem, I'm going to take an underspin. You guys should take an underspin. Take a wacky rig with you, but then your key is going to be drop shot. Look at some of the videos, and that's what you want to take out there with you. So thank you guys for checking out Fish North Georgia. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the guide here at Fish North Georgia. Our mission is to build a community of anglers to give you the best and latest information to make your day on the water more successful. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the bell so you'll be notified of any future content. Make sure you check us out at fishnorthgeorgia.com, where we carry a large variety of bait manufacturers from here in the North Georgia area. So we appreciate you being part of our community, and we'll see you soon.